What is going on, my beautiful people, man? Hope you guys have an amazing day today. In this video, we got something freaking amazing for you guys, man. And I really hope you guys are able to fully encapsulate this in your life, because it will completely change how you go about every single day of your life. And what we're basically going to be talking about is being able to understand that you can simply let go in certain situations and allowing yourself not to need anything to be perfect, but allowing yourself to know that even in uncomfortable situations that you can create and generate hope that God is going to use it for the best and allows you to get into the present moment, into the flow state in that moment too. So this is something so powerful. This is something I'm continuing to hear talked about by this guy that was a meditation coach for Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. And he basically talked about the most powerful thing that you can trust is that if you know that everything is working for you, that God is working for you, then you can continue to trust even in moments where you have a struggle or you have a thought that creeps in or you have something that's just like it feels so uncomfortable. If you can know, hey, God has gotten me out of this before, and God has not only gotten me out of this, but created something that I needed in my life from this. He's allowed me to find a lesson from this. He's allowed me to grow even better from this. I'll look at what I have now from what God has done in this time that I was struggling. And a lot of the times he says that it's hard in those moments to actually like feel the hope, to feel like it's going to actually, to see the big picture and see that it's going to pan out. But what he's saying is that it's hard to do that in the moment, but if you continue to get into the habit of focusing on that and focusing on trusting the Lord and focusing on seeing what he's doing in your life and where he is taking you out of, and being in gratitude of like, hey, I don't know where this is going to go, but I've seen this before happen, but also I can trust now because I know it's going to be something great. And it's almost like you get into a quicker time of being able to identify the gift that God has hidden within that struggle. Do y'all understand what I'm saying here, man? This is absolutely insane. Because for myself, whenever I felt that struggle, I didn't know what to do. I didn't like that. Not that I didn't like it, but I was like uncomfortable. It was very uncomfortable when these things would happen. And it's like you're struggling with stuff in your relationship, or you're struggling with stuff that you're trying to do with your dreams and your hopes. And it's like, Lord, I could do so much more if I just didn't have this struggle right now. But the more that we realize that the struggle is actually going to catapult you like a slingshot, it's going to pull you back, it's going to be a big struggle, but it's going to slingshot you into where you need to be because God has already ordained where you're going to be going. The more that we just create hope in that moment. Now, this is something powerful for me because it literally happened to me 2 days ago. Yeah, it was 2 days ago. And there's basically a situation and, I was going into this place and I was hanging out with my girl and her family, and she had said something before we were going up into this freaking dinner. And the thing that she had said, it really got into my head. It seeped in there. Now, let me first say, okay, so yeah, let me just go on here. So it had gotten into my head, and I didn't know how she meant it. I didn't know if she really meant what she was saying towards me. I didn't know how it was, but it was something where I knew, oh, it's already in there. It's already creeping up in there. And I talked about this in a past video, but this is important because I've actually seen the light at the end of the tunnel now. It's insane how fast that it actually happens. But I was like, okay, this creeped up in here, and it was like this thought that was like an insect or a bug that was just eating away at this thought, eating away at my flow state and my ability to just be joyous and happy and peaceful, because it was like a thought that it's just like a virus that gets in there. And I think we've always all felt that in certain situations. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna deal with this. Like, this is here, and I'm a little bit upset that she had said it. I'm a little bit upset in general. But it's like, I'm going to continue to do my best to just be here and to continue to like not say, I didn't want to tell myself, oh, I just need to get out of here. I need to get out of here right now. In the past, it would have just completely shut me down. And it would have been like, no, I can't do this. I can't do this. I need to get the freak out of here. I need to just like, no, I'm just completely shut down. But here I was like, okay, I'm going to continue to try my best to navigate this and to be here. And so it's like, I know, like I could feel myself without even consciously fully knowing what it was that I was doing. This is something I've learned now, because this happened after that day that I learned this concept of this, but how this experience or you can bring hope into that situation and still be present in there. So basically, after I had that, I was like, okay, I know that this is going to be tough, and I know that I'm still trying to maintain, and I managed to still actually get through that. And I get through it, and it goes great. It goes, however it went. Of course, I would have wished it would have went way better. We all want it to be perfect. I like going into it, I was feeling good, I was feeling amazing, and then that thought creeps in, and it's just like you're not yourself after that. But it was like, okay, I still got through it, and I know God's going to create something from here. But even then, it was still hard for me to see. And in that moment, it was like it was still struggle. The emotions are hard to deal with, and the feelings of it, the sensations of it, they're hard to deal with. But then, lo and behold, I end up looking at I find this George Munford, and the guy is somebody that has been the meditation coach for Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. And he just starts talking about stuff about being able to be in the eye of the storm. He also talks about stuff about struggle ceases to be struggle once you realize that it's once you can find meaning in it. And that's from Viktor Frankl. That's from a book by Viktor Frankl. And he just gives all these concepts about having to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. And uncomfortability creates swagger, and it's just like all these great things about saying. He gave an example of himself going to coach the Lakers, going to like talk to the Lakers after they won 2 championships. He goes up there, he starts getting in his head, in his mind, in the back of his mind, telling him like, you shouldn't be here. What gives you the right to coach these people? What gives you the right to say anything to them? You should get the frick out of here before they kick you out. But he's still being in the moment as best he can while allowing that to be background noise. It was just insane because it all spoke to me. And one of the things that was the most powerful that he had said is that when you are ready, the teacher shall appear. And what that basically means is like when you're ready for the lessons, when you're ready to grow in this area, the teacher shall appear. And he's like, it doesn't have to be a specific person that comes into your life. It can be a book, it can be a course, it can be it can even be a video or something like that. Like it could be a video like this, something like that. But he's just saying that for him, like those things actually came when he needed the lesson. Like it's just there. God is going to put it into your path. And I believe that he was the one for me in this moment. Damn. My bad, guys. I can't even talk. See that? God bless that person up in there. But basically, he was saying that the teacher is going to appear at that time. And for me, it really appeared because I was facing that struggle and that pain. And it was just like, I don't know what to do with these emotions. I don't know why I'm feeling this emotion. I don't know if I should even feel these emotions. Should I just be in that peace, love, and joy? But he gave me such peace in saying that it's okay to feel the struggle. The Lord felt the struggle. Jesus felt the struggle. And continuing to move with that struggle, knowing you're doing God's will and surrendering to God's will with however you're currently going about with that. And continuing to move with that. And it was so powerful. But not only that, because it was powerful for me, it brought me a lot of peace and got me back into that joy, even in a time that I shouldn't. Because right after that, I go over here to this Bible study. I go to my Bible study, and it's just like this shouldn't have been a time where I was able to get into this peak flow state where I'm just like feeling good. I just feel like I want to go in there. I can say anything. I'm just chilling. But yet, I go to this damn Bible study, and I'm driving up in there, and it's just like I feel it. I feel the flow state. I feel whatever you want to call it. It's just this peak state of being in the Lord's presence, and it feels different. Life feels different. The world feels different. Every perspective that you have on anything feels different. And this is something insane because, like I said, I shouldn't have been in it this day because there was tension in my life with certain things, with, relationship or with just in terms of like, I don't know how to be in God's presence, and that there's tension there. I'm struggling, but yet I'm still able to, like, after that, I was like, okay, that's amazing. And it also goes a little bit with what he said is that like the best thing for fear, to combat fear, is wisdom. And the wisdom of the Lord was bestowed upon me, and knowing that my struggles are okay. I'm asking the Lord for that wisdom, saying, Lord, I don't know what to do here, and giving it up to him. And he bestows it upon me in one day. So if you're dealing with that struggle right now, he can give you the wisdom that can help you through the fear, through the pain, through the struggle, and perspectivize, put a different perspective on your little struggle. That is damn incredible. It's powerful, very damn powerful. But then, I go into the Bible study, and it's just so amazing. And I know I'm in a different state because it's like, I'm just having fun. I'm identifying my emotions, my feelings. Okay, like if I get a little bit of nerves, it's just like, I can feel it and it's instantly gone. It's just crazy. It's a different state that you're in. And I'm just talking, I'm just saying stuff, sharing some experiences about my experiences that I'm growing. And these guys are like 50 plus. So of course, it's just like having a good time with them, man. But I really noticed it when there was like a time in that Bible study where it's like somebody says something, and then it's like towards the end, and we had like finished doing the Bible study, we had a little bit of downtime, and it's like somebody had said something, but then like nobody says something after, and it gets into that little bit of an awkward silence, quote unquote awkward silence that you would expect. And I remember being in those moments. This was like freaking a couple minutes of it, not even a couple minutes. It was like just like a minute maybe, but it was just like I remember being in that moment, and it used to feel so like I would take all the energy on myself. I don't know, I felt like I wanted to like say something, and I needed to say something, and I just felt bad, and it just felt so uncomfortable in that situation. But now growing through this, knowing, I don't know, I was in a completely different state. It didn't feel like that. I just felt at peace and just like happy to be there with the guys. And eventually somebody says something, and it's just there, and then you had another one of them, and it's just like somebody says something, and it's amazing, because in the past I would have feared that, and I would have not wanted to go into certain situations because I didn't want that. I feared that. But now God is removing the fear, and God can remove the fear in your life, man. And it's crazy because, oh man, just knowing how fast he turned it around, and knowing that struggle, and seeing how much that the struggle had created something that catapulted me into another level. Because I even talked to my girl, man, the next day after going to my Bible study, after having that experience and having like the feelings towards what she had said and what I was thinking about it, you know, I didn't feel so much like nervousness about talking to her about it. I know that God is going to take it how it must go, how it's going to go. And of course it was a little bit like, oh, like, I don't know, this is going to be an uncomfortable situation or an uncomfortable thing to talk about. But it's just like I was able to be like, okay, I'm just going to be there with her and see where it goes. And I just start talking about it with her, and it ends up being just a miscommunication. It was just something funny. We start laughing about it, man. And it ends up being like I'm telling her about it, like, yeah, I'm not. One of the things I told her is just like, even before I had gotten to the place where I could ask her about it, because it really had been uncomfortable for me, and the feelings of it had been uncomfortable. Even before I got to ask her about that specific situation, I realized the uncomfortable feelings that I was feeling, but then realizing all this wisdom that I had bestowed upon me in that little one day, realizing that I wanted to embrace the struggle, embrace all that stuff, and continue to move how God is moving me. And I literally told her, I realized at that time, before we even had a chance to talk about it, that I want, if I'm going to be in the trenches with anybody, and you're going to feel this uncomfortableness no matter who you're with, no matter where you're going. If you want to do great stuff, you want to do things, you're going to put yourself into uncomfortable situations. I want to feel that uncomfortableness, and I want to be in the trenches with you. That's what I told her. I told her I want to be in the trenches with you. I want to be there with you. I realized that it was with you. I didn't want it with nobody else. Before I even got to talk with her about it, because it could have been something where I was very pissed about it or anything like that. But that was powerful. Like, the Lord can literally take you into that spot. And I didn't know at that time, I really did not know what was going to come of that. And I didn't know, I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I had a little bit of a glimmer of hope. And now, seeing how fast he turned that around, the next time I'm in that uncomfortable situation, in that struggle, I'm going to be able to remember this time and remember how much of a golden gift, a golden egg came from that struggle. So, if you're in the struggle right now, if you're dealing with something right now, just know that we have the opportunity to get a gift out of there if you can find the lesson that God has hidden within that struggle. There's a struggle, you're dealing with stuff, but what can you learn from there? And how can you continue to move even if you are dealing with that struggle for the rest of your life? Knowing that it's okay to have tension, it's okay to have struggle, it's okay to have these feelings, but just accepting it and continuing to be still and know that He is God. Which doesn't mean that you're not going to have any of these feelings, that you need to completely empty out your thoughts. But just like He was doing, just like I was doing, being able to still be in the moment, but having those things and trying your best to accept them, and even having them as background noise, like at a restaurant, or having the feelings, the emotions, the stress, the anxiety, but still continuing to move one step at a time. He says that even freaking Bill Russell, 11-time NBA champion, threw up before pretty much every game. And that's incredible to think about. Think about that. Bill Russell threw up before every single game. Man. So if he is feeling that, but it's not the fact that he says it's not about the nervousness that's the thing, but it's our relationship to the nervousness. So if Bill Russell can say, I'm going to be nervous, I know I'm going to be nervous, but that's a good thing because I'm winning, and I'm going to continue to go out there and do my thing. That's powerful, and it's going to change your life. Love you guys very much, man. Hope you guys have an amazing one, and I hope you guys are just doing beautifully today. Love you guys very much. Peace.